Why do people think it's okay to speculate about other people's health conditions? Why do we think that's okay? Why do we think other people think that's okay? If you even have an idea for why people feel entitled to that information, I would love to hear that explanation in the comments, because it really boggles my mind for why people feel so comfortable in the space of speculating about other people's lives and health, for which they know nothing about.
Show me life, show me love, make it change, time is up. We can wait for better days, but the days won't come. Show me life, show me love.
What you doing, Chunk? You supposed to be sitting in your seat? Yes, no, maybe so. Today, I'm heading to my mom's to film, mostly because I don't have a cleaning lady and am too busy right now at work to clean my own house. So, filming at my mom's today. And, double bonus, I get to hang out with her a little bit, and Briley gets to see Grandma, her favorite person in the world besides Ricky and I. I noticed that I put Ricky first because, let's be real, it's always Ricky first for her.
Show me life, show me love, make it change, time is up. We can wait for
Where we at,
better
Chunk?
days, but the days
You know where we are. Where we at? We're Grams. Let's go. Unless you've been living under a rock the last 4 months, good chance you heard about Princess Kate and her health troubles. In December, she went into a hospital for a planned medical procedure, surgery, and it was stated that she would not return to public life for about 3-4 months until after Easter for recovery. Makes perfect sense. The way it was handled left a lot of people feeling like maybe there was more to the story and somehow they were entitled to that story but weren't getting it, which unfortunately it's kind of become a part of our culture at large, that we feel people owe us an explanation about what might be going on in their life, especially when it comes to something health related. Not everybody in the world is going to want to put all of their health business out there like I do and other advocates do, but not everybody, right? And it's really not any of our business. Natalie Hayden is an amazing IBD blogger who has an awesome IBD blog, which I'm gonna link in the description below. But over on her Instagram this week, before Kate made her announcement video, she put up a great story just calling out a comedian, Heather McDonald, for bringing up the princess on her podcast and making a joke when there was some talk that maybe Kate suffered from IBD and maybe she'd had a resection of her intestines and possibly even a temporary ostomy. Well, Heather McDonald made a joke about the palace wouldn't want that widely known because the princess wouldn't want to be subject to shit jokes the rest of her life, which is just kind of a shitty thing to say. But it's important to remember that Heather McDonald's a comedian and her role isn't to be empathetic, caring, or a patient advocate. That's our role, Natalie's role, those of us in the community that call out that kind of behavior, because it's not cool. It continues the stereotypes that perpetuate the fear for patients moving on to that step if that's what their doctor thinks is best for them. For the friends in my life who have had to take that last frontier step to an ostomy, it's not a death sentence for them, and it's not like it's the worst thing in the world. In fact, I'm gonna link to a very successful channel here on YouTube called Let's Talk IBD. She has an ostomy and does amazing content around living with her ostomy. I think the more we move away from tuning into folks who are making fun of others that might suffer from IBD, or if you hear people in your own life making jokes about ostomies or anything related to IBD, Crohn's, if you wouldn't make fun of someone who has a visible disability, then don't make it okay to make fun of someone who has an invisible disability. And while I recognize this isn't going to reach everybody, it's definitely not going to reach the trolls of the internet who are out there making crazy conspiracy theories about Princess Kate and who knows who else every time they're sick. Well, it's really none of our business. And I'm sure he didn't appreciate having to answer to a bunch of trolls on the internet. I think the point of this video is to talk to the people in my community. A lot of you are patients yourselves. You suffer from a chronic illness, specifically IBD or Crohn's, or something else. I've got a lot of amazing viewers viewers who talk about their journey with MS or fibromyalgia or any other number of chronic illnesses. What we can do is start the conversation with the people in our lives about ways to curb the kind of talk that perpetuates the stereotypes that are harmful against our particular communities. It's all about starting conversation and open communication. Basically, we're not going to sit here and call out the bad behavior. Any of us can do that if you have a basic moral compass and survived what you learned in kindergarten for how to treat people. But I think beyond that, we can have discussions about things in our community that maybe others wouldn't think about. For instance, the story by Natalie Hayden about Princess Kate, because for those of you that are outside the IBD community, what Heather McDonald, the comedian, said on her podcast about the shit joke with Princess Kate may not have landed the same with you as it does with us in the community, right? So you might not have thought why that joke would be harmful, and maybe wouldn't have had the foresight to think about perpetuating the stereotype and the impact of that. And so I think the more we have open discussions about when folks in the public eye do things that are harmful to our community, if we can share that in safe spaces like this, comment sections, Discord threads, Instagram threads, places where you know other people are like-minded, share ideas, and then go back to your real life and talk to 5 to 10 people that aren't in our communities so we can kind of spread the good behavior. Right? It's all about paying it forward, or at least that's the goal. One of the things about the Princess Kate situation that people talked about was her weight. Unfortunately, talking about other people's weight is something, especially with the royal family, that's gone on as long as I can remember. I mean, I grew up in the Fergie Diana years, where it was all about, was Fergie too fat and Diana too thin? It was just ugly and unnecessary and not helpful. Because I've had times in my life where my weight's fluctuated, and looking back, I can see that when I was not eating or going through periods of extreme fasting, that really wasn't fasting, I just had other things going on in my life, and looking back on it, extreme stress, and was probably in a flare. Remember having terrible, terrible digestive issues at the time, and when you're in pain and your digestion feels like a concrete truck, you don't exactly want to eat. And then that just perpetuates weight loss that then makes other people look at you and start asking questions that are uncomfortable. When really it has nothing to do with anorexia or not wanting to eat. It has everything to do with, I don't feel good and I don't want to eat. I don't want to have diarrhea for 3 days, you know? I think the more we can give people grace when it comes to their body, the way they look, the way they present in the world, I think the better off we'll all be by and large. And the reason this is important to me right now is I'm about to start going on a weight loss journey. My whole life, I've always had weight fluctuations, up, down. I think that that's pretty normal for most people. What's abnormal about it for me is that's one of the reasons I was such a late Crohn's diagnosis and why my doctor was so hesitant to diagnose me with Crohn's. The only thing that did not match was my weight at the time. Interesting part about the weight at the time was I gained about 40 pounds on prednisone in the 2-month period that I was misdiagnosed before it was decided that I had Crohn's disease. That few months on prednisone was wild, y'all. Gained a ton of weight. And since then, I've never been able to lose it. I did lose a little bit of the weight gain in my face that came when I was on prednisone, when my face really puffed up really big. Like that went down, but the weight loss did not. Crohn's wise, that's actually not a terrible thing because I still have bouts each month where I'm not able to eat and I'll have some digestive issues and diarrhea, but I don't see the weight fluctuations like I might have before because I've got so much cushion on me at the moment. So Crohn's wise, it's been fine. And I'm sort of a miracle of medicine. My family doctor appointment was just a few weeks ago and my blood pressure's fine. I didn't really have high cholesterol. I don't really have any comorbidities with being obese. And I'm obese. Technically, by medical standards, I'm obese. The weight loss has to come. It has to change because I don't want to have problems later on in life. I'm at an age where prolonged excess weight can create other comorbidities like diabetes, high blood pressure, just things that I don't want to have to worry about. And I want to live a long, healthy life, and I already have a chronic illness. Don't need to make life more difficult for myself. In the next few videos, I'm going to be diving into my journey to getting myself to a better weight and in a better position to have long-term good quality health, and other than my Crohn's, which I'm always going to have, at least eliminate some of the other concerns that come along with a little extra weight. I think as far as our community goes, we can take this as a learning experience for how we can grow and improve and maybe make the world a little better place for someone else. If you're out there, please stay healthy and well, and I look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to be diving into that video series about weight loss and IBD. Look for that in the coming weeks. See ya.
This is all we got. Show me, show me love.
This is all
We got show me love. This is all we got. Show me love. Show me love. Show me love. Show me love. This is all we